Okay, tomorrow at around 3:30 in the morning, we are headed to Canada. Well, my sister-in-law is getting married in the beautiful area of Banff, and so we're taking some time off. We're heading up to Canada. When we go, we are taking off work. I am about 6 months pregnant, so some of the things that are planned for Banff, I cannot necessarily participate in. So I'm taking some books with me. And the thing is I live in Florida. It's like 90 degrees here today. I was in shorts, tank top, but I've been packing sweaters and coats because it is 30 degrees in Banff, Canada, which blows my mind. So my thought process was I need to bring some books that are set in the cold. But then Garrett and I were talking about, what we could do this with. And we're going to be in a cabin in the cold, in the mountains. So while I'm basically stranded in Banff, Canada in the cold, why not read some books where people are stranded in the cold? And the books that immediately came to mind, I had already read. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Put them here. No Exit by Taylor Adams. And then I wrote a few other ones down that I had thought of, like Moon of the Crusted Snow, Murder on the Orient Express, of course, One by One by Ruth Ware, The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. I've read all of those. Apparently I really enjoy being creeped out by people locked in the cold, stranded. I found a few on my shelf, insert this clip here of everything falling down, that I haven't read yet. One of those being Breathless by Amy McCulloch. I've had this on my shelf for years. I got a book of the month for forever. I don't even know if I've broken the spine yet. So I'm going to take this one with me. I also have, and I don't have it with me because the shelf thing just takes too long. So I'm either going to go get it or I'm going to find it on my Kindle. But I have This Is How We End Things by R.J. Jacobs, which is about a deserted North Carolina college campus in the winter and people get trapped there. I'm all for it. And the last one that I haven't read yet was Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I had it. I have it somewhere, but in the move, I just don't know where it went. So I'm gonna go try to find them, and if I do, I'll hop back on here, and if I don't, then enjoy our day of travel as I start these, and hopefully I can get through all of them while we are there. I found it. Okay, I found it. Now I'm just looking for the Darcy Coates one. I don't actually remember seeing it, but I'm gonna either find it here or find it on my Kindle. I can't, but I did find it on Libby. So it may not be a bad idea for me to put one on my Kindle just because carrying all those books, 3, but still carrying them all on a plane, it gets heavy. It's 3:30 in the morning. I can't say that I'm like excited to be up right now, but the car's packed, making the coffee, dogs are fed. We're about to head to the airport to get started on the stay, so you'll get there faster than I do.
Kate doesn't like vlogging in public, so I'm going to vlog, but she's gonna talk, so What, do you want to say anything? Yes, hello?
Stop. This is so embarrassing. Look at the book I read on the plane.
We're in Canada.
I read this whole
It's
book
backwards.
on the plane. No, it's not.
Is it not?
No,
Okay.
it looks like it.
I'm worried.
I read the whole thing on the plane.
And we're waiting for those folks to rent us a car so we can go to the mountains.
She's gonna be so late for her appointment.
And what are you reading out in the mountains?
I already read one, which I kind of hated. And then I had this one. True.
Oh, there's mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a dopey.
This one to read. And then I have a Kindle one that's creepy.
So you're reading about mountains?
I'm reading
In the
about
mountains?
being stranded in the cold mountains.
We're ready. Let's go.
Okay. We just got into our suite and I wanted to show you a little bit of just the guest part of it. Hi, there's me, hello. And look how cute it is in here. We would take you outside. We have a cool view, but it's raining, so you can't see the mountain, and that's the whole point. So then down there are the bedrooms and a fireplace that we have already turned on because again, it's 90 degrees where we live and it is a solid 30 here. So
It's like 42.
well, I'm cold. So
Love it. It's Memorial Day weekend. And I'm looking at snow. Well,
it's
I'm not looking at snow, I'm looking at rain, but
so cold. See, there's a beautiful mountain out there, but you can't. Yeah, the visibility is not great. So we'll be able to show you that when the rain stops. But look how cute. Look how cute it is. While we were, look, I look like I'm, like here's my fire and I look all official. But I wanted to talk about this one. I want to talk about This Is How We End Things by R.J. Jacobs, because I listened to this in the entirety of a flight from beginning to end, fresh on my mind. The synopsis of the story is way better than the actual story. They were graduate students studying the psychology of deception. In and of itself sounds really cool. Then one of them ends up dead, and then all the secrets come out. And the reason why I wanted to read it for this vlog, being cold in the mountain, I'm not stranded, but we don't have a car right now, so kind of stranded. No, turn that off. No, that ain't it. Okay. But the thing about this is when I read blurbs about it online, because I was trying to figure out what to read, it talked about, and it said that they were trapped on an abandoned campus with a local detective investigating the case. It was spring break. They're grad students. They weren't trapped on campus. They were freely going on and off campus, going to their office, doing their work, leaving their hall, going back home. No one was trapped there. If anything, there was a ice storm coming, and it was promised that this ice storm was going to last for like 5 days. It lasted for like 3 hours, and they were trapped in their homes more than they were trapped on campus. So there was no locked room, I'm trapped in the cold thriller. It genuinely was just like a typical, we gotta figure out who killed them and why. Enter the detective investigator in my opinion, we had too much of her POV and the end. There were way too many characters. I almost had to draw a character map, but then I realized I didn't care enough to draw it. I called the ending halfway through, which I can't do. I don't have that ability. I don't do that well. And the fact that I could do it, I was gravely disappointed. So I think I'm gonna give this one a 2.5 star. I'm glad that I didn't read it here in Banff. Are we in Banff? Canmore. We're in Canmore. So I'm glad I didn't read this while here in Canmore. I think it would have killed my vibe. I just didn't get what I was promised. So 1 down, 2 to go. I'm going to pick up my Darcy Coates one next. I'm gonna read it on my Kindle. We have a lot of plans. We have a big family day tomorrow. So we're gonna knock this out in the cold, and hopefully I get the vibes of being trapped in the cold like I'm supposed to. Good morning. We slept for a solid 10 hours last night, but I wanted to kind of show you what this looked like in the morning because it's beautiful, and then when the clouds move away you can actually see the peaks and the snow, and it's actually really cold out here. Hang on. So just finished my coffee, reading my Darcy Coates, and it is giving me the mountain snow vibes that I was needing for this trip. I'm about maybe 10% in, but at this point, Darcy does not disappoint. She really gives it to you when it comes to making you feel like you understand the anguish that was going on the mountain. Just starts off with the bang, and then a few chapters later, it's like 6 hours earlier, so we're gonna get to that point of needing that survival time. And I was reading it, and then we were talking about going on a hike on this mountain, and I'm like, I don't know if we should do that because there's snow up there and it's like kind of chilly, and in no way, shape, or form is this like the same type of temperature climate, but I don't know, it's in my head now what I wanted. So we're gonna continue reading this today and I'll check in, but man, these views, I mean, look at them. So I'm excited. I'm gonna get the vibes. I just had the most chaotic hour and a half of my life. It's really dramatic. But we were on a tour, and I'm gonna use some of Garrett's footage here too. We were on a tour in Banff, Canada, a national park, and I had my trusty phone, and we got out, we were taking photos, and I don't do this, like I don't forget things and I don't leave things, and I put my phone down on a ledge and then got back in the tour bus, and I was trying to find my phone to check my blood sugar, and I got the feeling at the pit of my stomach that I don't have my phone because I left it on the ledge. So we had to end the tour and get back in our car and try to flag down the phone because all of a sudden the phone started to drive away. So we were trying to cut it off coming down the mountain, and there were about 3 cars, one after the other. We didn't know which car it was in. So we were trying to flag down all these cars. It was probably a really dangerous thing for Garrett to do for me, but it was in a tour bus. The tour bus kept going. We thought they were going back into Banff. Then we saw them turn and get on the highway. So I called my phone, and the nicest lady was like, I have it. I have your phone. I didn't steal it. I have it. And then we had to wait 30 minutes for her to come back. And she did, in fact, have my phone, and she did, in fact, return it. Garrett got a lot of it on footage. During that time, I tried my first Tim Hortons, so we got a little bit of some good memories in there. But I do have my phone back, and it might be the dumbest thing that I've done not in America. So it's a fun time. So now we're trying to race to meet the rest of our family at Lake Louise, and now I feel an emotional crash. So go Canada. I'm recording you on my camera now. No!
Hands up.
I haven't talked to you in a day and a half. That went by really fast for you. However, my sister-in-law got married and we traveled all over our little place of Canada just to go see it. However, I have read most of my book. I don't consider this trip over until we get home. So I'm gonna finish my book tonight. I'm gonna tell you about it when I finish it. Oh, I also found the cutest little bookstore and bought a book that you see here. Couldn't find it anywhere, finally found it. So, bought it in Canada, which I think is so fun. So, out of breath. I'm gonna finish it tonight, and when we get home, and then I can put all this together and kind of do a little recap of everything. So, that'd be fun. I love reading about missing significant others on a snowy mountain while my significant other is hiking on a snowy mountain. This is the vibe. This is what I was going for. I would be out there. I want to be out there, but being 6 months pregnant, it's a little hard to do those hikes. So while I'm stranded, then I get to read books about being stranded. It's doing the thing. Like, it's making me, and I'm comparing my real life to what I'm reading. Her significant other and her leave a bus, go to the top of a mountain. It's not that far from the bus. There was a storm coming, but the guy has been from around there, so you know, he knows the weather, he knows everything. And then literally 6 hours later, she's waking up. So we're trying to find out what happened to her and him. Now, in the present day, people are dying. And it genuinely feels like only one of these people here can do the murdering. And so we're trying to figure out who did that. She's still going out looking for her boyfriend because we can't find him anywhere. And the snow's still falling. It's chaotic. They're like, where are the rescue people? And someone who died was supposed to call the rescue people. And then they're like, did they use this radio? Everyone's like, yeah, that's the radio he used. And they pull it up and they're like, but it's broken. Was this deliberate? Are they supposed to all be out there together? Stranded? IDK. But I gotta figure it out. Okay. So I'm very very upset. We just got home. And I came outside. Oh, hang on. I think there's a little fog on this. There was a time when I was reading the Darcy Coates and in the bedroom, which I believe you just saw, or you will just see, and then it just kind of cuts off out of nowhere, and that's because my card said it was full, and so I changed out the card. I thought I was recording for like the last 36 hours. So I finished my Darcy Coates. Let me rub this off again. It's humid. I finished my Darcy Coates. And I read Breathless on the plane. Vlogged the whole thing with my thoughts and feelings. And it didn't save. I'm so upset. So I'm just going to chat for a moment about, I'm very tired, about what my thoughts and feelings were on these last two books. My Darcy Coates, when I finished it, I gave it a 4.5 star. I genuinely enjoyed it because it kind of turned into a slasher and I wasn't expecting it. Garrett did come home. Garrett did come home before I finished the book, which was really good. Otherwise, I think I would have been a little anxious at how that ended, and then my husband still wasn't home off the mountain. But it did end up being more of like a slasher thriller, so unlike Darcy Coates. And I loved it. Like, she did it. She did the dang thing. It was a lot of fun to read about this mysterious killer killing all these people, and seemingly in a really strategic way and in really grotesque ways. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I don't like slashers. And maybe it's because I didn't know it was coming, so it caught me by surprise. It did give me the cold vibes. It did give me the stranded in a mountain kind of vibe. Darcy Coates is just a really great author. 4.5 stars. And then I read Breathless, and I didn't like it. I almost DNF'd it. And I don't know if it's the book's fault. I think it was just the timing that I read it. I don't like survivor thrillers. I really could have read the entire synopsis and figured this out. I also don't do that either. But she goes up on this mountain, like one of the biggest mountains, with a team of people and a really experienced, famous hiker to get into the zone that's dangerous to breathe because it's so high in altitude. When she gets up there's a killer up there and she can't get down, and she's trying to figure out where her team is and where this famous hiker is. And I didn't care. I didn't care about the treachery. I didn't care about the mountain. I didn't care about her journey. I didn't care about anything. I don't like survivor thrillers. So I think it was me. I ended up giving it a 2.5 out of 5. But it's something I would still recommend. If you do enjoy those types of books, then you would enjoy Breathless. It just didn't do it for me. Now, in my past footage, I went way more in depth with those two and gave you more adequate feelings. However, I'm still mad that it's gone, and I'm still tired, and that's what you get. So thank you for going to Canada with me. Thank you for reading these books with me. Thank you to my editor husband for putting it all together. I will see you in the next one. Bye.